Okay, be honest. Did you really think that Fortnite was ever going to make a comeback? Yeah, me neither. The resurgence of Fortnite is unlike anything I've ever seen. At one point, this game was on its deathbed. Apple removed it from the App Store, both pro players and casual players started to hate it, and if it weren't for every character having an immense dump truck, this game would be pulling up a lawn chair in heaven next to Rumbleverse and the last 32 Call of Duty titles. That's not even a low-hanging fruit anymore, that's a low-hanging orchid. But Epic Games would never just let this game die. And in turn, they've done everything from rotating content to adding enough cross-promotion cameos to make Smash Bros. Ultimate look like that first graders party that nobody bothered to show up to. Everyone is here. Well then, where's Rick and Morty then, dumbass? And why can't this Ryu hit the gritty? I had to change pants, I was worried about the green screen, whatever, let's move on. I think it's commendable that Fortnite managed to dig itself out of an early grave. And obviously, that's due to the insane amount of effort that was put behind the growth of this game. When I first got into Fortnite, the map looked like this. And now, years later, after hundreds of patches, the map looked like this. It's a lot of improvement. But somewhere in this game's quest for eternal life, they managed to fly too close to the sun and gave a little too much power to the player. Enter Fortnite Creative 2.0, a system where Epic will pay people real-life money for making their own custom game modes. But unlike Roblox, the game with more microtransactions in it than a literal flea market, because they're fleas, they're small, and they're selling, you get it. Fortnite is paying creators based on engagement. To simplify, the more people that play a game mode, and the longer that people play a game mode, the more money a creator will make. To simplify again, people play game long, me make money. Some of these modes are amazing. Duel arenas, boss fights, Fortnite, Squid Game, and whatever else. But as expected, the majority of Fortnite's creative maps have devolved into some of the most off-putting, manipulative, and time-wasting game modes physically possible. And I promise that no matter how hard you try to guess, you're not gonna be able to predict what I had to play in order to do this video. One of the game modes you're about to see has already been taken down. So today, let's dive into some of the most awful and awkward game modes that I managed to find in Fortnite Creative 2.0. My only rule here is simple. I have to beat all of the game modes that I play if possible. So without further ado, let's get into it. First up, we got Anime School Simulator. Our journey starts off with a cutscene welcoming us to anime school. And there's just a lot to take in here. We got Mega Charizard X, Walter White, Blossom, and a Charmander that was unfortunately freshly lobotomized. You have to go to classes, gather resources by mining, fishing, or woodcutting, and then sell those resources for money. We talked to Mariko Sensei, who explains that our main goal here is to become a 5-star student by the end of the year. And to do so, all you gotta do is buy it from the principal, which is somehow not unrealistic. We choose our starter bootleg Pokemon, which is very confusing, but I'm sure they're gonna explain that later. Besides the title and I guess the location, this game mode has nothing to do with school at all. You just spend your time mining to level up your mining so that you can mine more valuable stuff. This isn't a school, this is child labor. Do their anime parents know what's going on? Or do I have to call an anime police officer because something awful is afoot? Attending classes doesn't really do anything except for give you materials that you could use to craft items that don't do anything either. The only actual progress in this game, besides buying your star ranking, is doing the same thing over and over so that you can do it better. If I wanted to play a bad game where I just had to do the same thing over and over again in order to evolve a skill, then I would just play RuneScape. Am I right? Eventually, we make enough money to get our next star ranking and also find out that there's a dorm you could buy, which lets you purchase the stuff that you get from classes, making the classes even more useless. In Pet First Aid class, there's an evolution bench which allows you to evolve your Pokemon, but you need resources to do it, which include the Sunburst ore, which is something you could only mine after level 20. So I spent the next 20 minutes of my life leveling up my mining, selling things for money, sadly looking out my window and repeating the cycle. The martial arts teacher is named Coach Sensei. I'm gonna let that one breathe a bit. We make money, pay the principal, who should be heavily investigated for whatever the f is going on here, get more stars, go back to the mine, etc. In cooking class, there's this piece of art on the wall that's suspiciously AI looking. Maybe I'm wrong, who cares? And after doing this for what feels like a fortnight, we buy our final star from the principal and get this message. Hey, I just wanted to personally thank you for coming this far into the journey I've crafted, and I appreciate it a lot. I hope you enjoyed the experience, and it means a lot to me that you stayed for this long. I hope you have a good rest of your day. I originally felt kind of bad when I read this, because I knew I was going to pick fun at this game, but then I looked at this creator's other maps, and it turns out that he's the guy that made the Fortnite Squid Game, which has peaked at 64,000 players. Fucking crazy, right? Also, before you ask, yes, I did evolve my Pokemon to the final evolution. And it just kinda got bigger, but it still didn't do anything. So ta-da! Next up, we got Skibidi Tycoon 2. Oh, now this may sound like it's awful, but it's not the worst one, by far. I didn't really play the first Skibidi Tycoon, so I don't know how important the lore is for this one, but I think it'll be fine. I mean, the Skibidi lore can't be that deep, right? It's not like MatPat had to spend 18 minutes on a video explaining the insane lore. Oh. Shit. Hello. This game is just a walking simulator. It's like playing Cookie Clicker, but there's no cookie to click. The whole point is to upgrade your Skibidi toilet factory by spending money on it, which makes you earn more money, etc. There's also like this Skibidi slaughterhouse in the middle of the map where you could shoot them in order to get more money, but it's not that much, so it's not worth it. So the majority of this game is just waiting until you could walk on a green circle and then waiting so you can walk on another green circle. It's just a never-ending fetch quest. Is this hell? Am I in hell for making fun of RuneScape? I guess the one nice thing I could say is that things actually spawn when you build them. And since this idea was just so insanely goofy, I did find myself curious to see whatever the heck the next upgrade was gonna be. Like, how do you not get curious when you see RPG toilet and toilet filler? I got one of those built in. That's disgusting. The two main goals here is to 1, launch the Skibidi rocket. I don't know what that does, but it is the last upgrade in your factory. And 2, to become the Skibidi goat by pulling this lever here, which costs $5 million. But that can't take that long, right? Okay, after grinding and spending way too much time earning the money that I needed to launch the Skibidi rocket, we can finally see what it does. Awesome. A bit anticlimactic, but at least we could also see what becoming the Skibidi goat does. Awesome. You ever think about how we're aging? While looking around the absolute pits of Fortnite creative maps, I also managed to find this one, Skibidi versus Gyat versus Phantom, which has already lowered my IQ by like half just by glimpsing at it. But it is a multiplayer map, which I do want to try out, so we'll come back to it a little later. Next up, we got +1 a second. This one is probably the least game of them all. Basically, you gotta jump up towers that get increasingly high. In order to do that, you just gotta wait for your jump strength to increase, and then you can finally climb the tower, get your diamonds, and get sent back to the bottom. Once you have enough diamonds, you can buy pets, which charge your jump rate faster. The idea has the capacity to be fun if there were like platforming sections or anything that had a semblance of difficulty at all, but they don't. You just freaking blast your way up like you're beefing with God. The worst part by far though is when you accidentally jump way too high, and then you have to watch yourself slowly descend to where you need to be. It just feels like such a waste of time. Oh, that's the point. A big issue for me here is that unlike the last game we played, you can't just sit idle and watch Netflix while you collect your earnings. You have to do the same repetitive, awful task over and over again in order to progress. But after 90 minutes, I jumped up the last platform, unlocked the last pet, and could finally finally wipe my hands of this game, or at least one of them, because this creator made the exact same game mode 3 more times. And because of my silly and outlandish curiosity, I went and beat all of them. We got +1 strength a second, where the main task is about breaking through walls. We got +1 speed every second, where you have to run to the end every few minutes. And of course, there's +1 gas a second, where you're getting gas to launch your car as far as you can, which I guess fair. I mean, with enough gas, you can launch anything. Believe it or not, they're all garbage. Do you want to know in what order? There you go. Do you want to know why? There you go. You know what I need? I need +1 camera a second, so that the next time I make a video, I could just shoot knowing that I needed a break from all of this hot-ass garbage. My friends finally logged on, and it was time to play a game mode that should be admitted into the Olympics. Skibidi versus Gyat versus Phantom. But as I was excited to play with my friends, and finally see another face after locking myself in these atrocities for hours on end, I found out some bad news. Skibidi versus Gyat versus Phantom was taken down. But when I first found it, I did record myself walking around the map just to see what it was, and as far as I know, this is the only recording of that game mode that exists on the internet. And finally, we had a game mode that I absolutely had to play. You see, I've been doing YouTube professionally since like 2017, and in that time, I've had some monumental highs and some pretty low lows. If you're someone who has done content or has ever wanted to do content, I'm sure you wished for the same thing that I once wished for: a template on how to be a good YouTuber. Well, look no further, because we're playing YouTube Tycoon 3, the most popular tycoon game in all of Fortnite, actually clocking in the number 35 most played game mode right now. And I'm genuinely shocked at how much this game mode actually got correct. Just like in real YouTube, our goal here is to get likes and then melt them down in our furnace and convert them into real life money. You buy a computer and you could sit down and edit and create videos, which in turn leads to more subs and views. Then the money you make you can spend on upgrading your computer and expanding your house so that you can afford your own little editor sweatshop. The main goal in this one isn't really clear. I'm assuming it has something to do with this gigantic demon portal that's under your house. No, that can't be right. Out of every game mode that we played for this video, this one is by far the most popular, consistently sitting at thousands of concurrent players throughout every hour of the day, which is so confusing to me because it may in fact be the worst one. But after playing this game mode for way too long, I think I figured out why it always has thousands of players. For starters, it's just a tycoon game like the others, but it technically does have more content. You could buy cars at the car shop or PC parts at the PC shop, etc. And the only focus here is to basically sit down at your PC and edit YouTube videos all day to increase your sub count and views, which sounds like a miserable life. And just like the other tycoon games, that means just sitting there and AFKing while Fortnite mines Bitcoin on your computer. Upgrading your in-game PC makes your recording bar go faster, getting editors makes your edit bar go faster, and upgrading your internet makes the upload bar go faster, which sounds kind of neat, but the issue is that nothing makes your money go much faster, which is the whole point of tycoon games. You're supposed to constantly feel like you just earned the next big thing, and that dopamine dump is the reason why these are so addicting. But when there's literally no gameplay and the next big thing is waiting 30 to 60 minutes in order to click on something, it loses its value very fast. The portal opens for $1 million, but I was only getting 200 gold a second, and the views and subs don't do anything to help you. But I'm not a coward, and I didn't come here to not finish a game. So I sat there and played this game for 6 hours. 6 fucking hours to earn what I needed. My girlfriend was playing with me too, and we tried to make it a friendly competition, but there's only so much you could hype up before you realize that you're just watching numbers tick very slowly. This isn't the Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not looking at stocks. I'm not actually getting paid. This does nothing for me. But you want to know why this game sits at thousands of players every second of the day? Because because it does not save. So people sit down and keep this game open for days because, spoiler alert, 1 million gold for the portal is nowhere near the most expensive thing. And because I'm petty and I've replaced all of my blood with caffeine, I sat there and did the math to show you how much time you would waste in order to achieve the most expensive items. Are you ready? The portal below the house costs 1 million gold. That means it takes 5,000 seconds to unlock the endgame portal, which is 1 hour and 23 minutes of time it takes to unlock. This property cost 8 million. That's 11 hours and 7 minutes. This car is 3 hours and 8 minutes. This car is 5 hours and 8 minutes. This car is 4 hours and 2 minutes. This car is 13 hours and 53 minutes. The PC shop costs 3 hours and 41 minutes. This PC monitor is 49 minutes. This desktop is 1 hour and 14 minutes. This desk is 3 hours and 12 minutes. This keyboard is 1 hour and a minute. This mouse is 18 minutes with its 11-minute mouse pad. And who can forget the 16-minute gamer chair? Totaling to 49 hours and 23 minutes it would take you to only unlock the most expensive items in the game. And remember, this game does not save. So if I waited 49 hours to get all of this stuff, I know that I would have a very hard time closing the game out and realizing that it was all for nothing. And at this point, after doing the math and playing all of these god-awful monstrosities, I really started to think, who are these game modes made for? Who would spend so much time playing these terrible things that are only meant to keep you there? Surely there's not a target audience. Surely there's not a person who sat there and played through all of these, right? And that's when I realized I am the answer. Because no matter the intent, I actually sat there and beat all of these. And for what? A silly YouTube video? Was it really worth the days of my life that I would never get back? I guess the only thing I can do now is check what's inside that portal. Thank you so much for watching. I played so many of these game modes that didn't really make the final cut of the video, but I hope you enjoyed the ones that I did talk about. I just felt like they were the most content. Quick little announcement, I did make a second channel where I'm posting content that's not as crazy as this one. Don't worry, all the main projects are still gonna be here, like the green screen stuff. But if you wanna watch more of me and more stream of conscious / unscripted stuff, you know where to find it. It's right there on the screen. And if you don't wanna watch that, well, here's a video where I tried to beat a Mario and Sonic game at the same time. And I think you would enjoy it because it looks just like this one. Am I right? I'm out of here. Bye.